Long back, there was a panda in Puri whose name was Arjun Mishra. Every day, this panda read the whole Bhagavad Gita because he spent a lot of time studying the Gita, and due to his unflinching faith in the Bhagavad Gita, the local people started calling him Gita Panda. And he was a great devotee of Lord Jagannath and a very, very surrendered person. And he depended completely on the Lord for everything. Whatever happened, he accepted that as a desire of the Lord. And nothing could affect the Gita Panda. He was a very poor person and he lived by begging. Once there was heavy rain for about a week in Puri, and there was no scope for Gita Panda to go and beg. So whatever little stock he had was finished, and he and his family were forced to fast. And yet the Gita Panda remained undisturbed. He spent his entire time reading Bhagavad Gita and reciting verses of Gita. And he was happy that he could not go out. And he felt this was a great opportunity because now he had more time to read Gita. His wife became very angry with him and she started chastising him. She said, unless you go out and beg, how do you think the family will survive? So she said, we have 3 children and they will all die if you don't go and beg. Get something for them. The Gita Panda was very undisturbed and he showed her the verse of the Gita where Krishna says, Ananya Chinta Yantomam Ye Jana Parupaste Tesham Nityabhyuktanam Yoga Kshema Mahamyam. Krishna says, but those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. When the Gita Panda showed this verse to his wife who was angry, she became even more angry. You speak philosophy at the wrong time, that doesn't satisfy, it creates more disturbance. So she became even more angry at her husband's behavior. She waited for days together and still her husband brought nothing. He just kept telling her, if you simply depend on the Lord, He will take care of everything. The wife was thinking, how long can I wait here? The children were hungry due to want of food and she was very angry. Now, taking her husband's Bhagavad Gita, she opened at the verse that he had quoted and she scratched 3 lines through that verse. Afterwards, frustrated and hungry, she and her children went to sleep. Sometime later, the Gita Panda also went to sleep. Very soon, Gita Panda's wife, she heard a knock on the door. She woke up from her sleep, went and opened the door, and there 2 very beautiful boys were standing. And they brought with them so many ingredients to cook food. And this Gita Panda's wife was very surprised to see such very beautiful boys. One of them was dark and other was the color of milk. And the dark boy told this wife of Gita Panda that please take these foodstuffs that have been sent by a friend of Gita Panda. Please cook these and eat to your heart's content. The Gita Panda's wife was very surprised to see such very beautiful boys. And when she heard the voice of the boys, her heart felt great joy. She felt very affectionate towards them. And she requested them, kindly wait here, let me cook the food, and you also take prasad. The boys replied, yes, we also want to take prasad with you, but my tongue has been cut and I cannot eat anything. And after this, these boys left. The Gita Panda's wife, she placed all the ingredients in the storeroom and went and woke up her husband, tell him what exactly was happening. So the Gita Panda came and he saw the entire storeroom was filled with so many ingredients. So the first thing he asked his wife, did you feed those boys? And I hope you were kind to those boys and gave them something in return. The wife said, I asked the boys to wait there so that I can feed them. I can cook and feed. But the dark boy said that someone had cut his tongue in 3 places and he was unable to eat. The Gita Panda, when he heard this, he immediately understood the boy is the Lord himself. Because his wife had scratched three verses on the Bhagavad Gita. She scratched that verse three times, basically. And the words, Bhagavad Gita is the words that emanate from Krishna's mouth, right? And because she scratched Bhagavad Gita, that reflected a scratch on the tongue of the Lord. And that's when the Gita Panda's wife realized that the Lord, to prove his promise to maintain his devotees, he had personally brought Bhoga to his dear devotee. And immediately Gita Panda and his wife, they prepared so much, food. They cooked wonderful food, and they took the food to Jagannath's temple to thank him for his kindness. And when they approached the altar of the Lord, they saw that Jagannath had three spots on his lips. Like this, Gita Panda and his wife, they realized that the words of the Bhagavad Gita are not just theoretical, but they are very, very real, and they are actually spoken on the lips of the Lord. All of us, we have two ways of looking at everything that we hear from our scriptures. One is to look at it with doubt, and the other is to look at it with faith. When we look at what is there in the scriptures with doubt, that's what we experience. And when we look at what is there in the scriptures with faith, that's what we experience. The Gita Panda had so much faith in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna came to substantiate the words of the Bhagavad Gita for him and his wife. And his wife looked at the words of the Bhagavad Gita with doubt. And Krishna actually did not accept her offering that day because he said that I have cuts on my tongue. Of course, these are all exalted pure devotees of the Lord. The Lord personally comes to reciprocate with them. But for us, the words of the Bhagavad Gita are very much there, very much available. And the words in the scriptures are very much available. The words spoken by great teachers are very much available. The question that we have to ask ourselves is, how much faith do we have in these words? To the extent we have faith, these words will prove true. To the extent we don't have faith, these words will prove true also. So the point is that whenever we look at anything that we learn from our scriptures, let us try to look at them with faith. We may not be able to understand everything. We may not be able to see everything practically. But to the extent we have faith, one day we will actually see the import of these verses. And therefore, whenever we read Bhagavad Gita, especially when we're chanting the Gita verses, let us chant with great faith. Let us chant with the understanding that these are words spoken from the mouth of Krishna himself. Even if we don't understand anything what they mean, just by chanting these verses of the Gita, they purify the heart. And they give us access to the mercy of the Lord. The Bhagavad Gita is one of the most powerful scriptures because it is spoken by Krishna. And anything that is emanating from the mouth of the Lord, anything that is emanating from the body of the Lord is considered most auspicious. The Ganga that comes out from the washing the lotus feet of the Lord is considered most auspicious. Similarly, the Gita that is coming out from the mouth of the Lord is considered most auspicious. So as much as Ganga Jal is auspicious, that much the verses of the Gita are auspicious. And let us all try our best to chant the verses of the Gita very, very faithfully and with a lot of prayerful attitude so that we can benefit from the association of Krishna, the words that are coming out from the mouth of Krishna. And when we just repeat the words of Krishna as it is, it benefits us tremendously. What to speak of understanding the words and applying the words in our lives. So let us all, in this mood, try to observe ourselves in the recitation of the Bhagavad Gita on a daily basis. We have reached the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita now. So the next time when we meet on Monday, we will do the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So I would highly urge all of you all to kindly participate in the chanting of the verses of the Gita and participate in the morning program, because this powerfully can transform your life. Anything that is done steadily in Krishna consciousness gives benefit, gives results. So, anyone who attends the morning program steadily, no matter what, how heavily it's raining, how hot it is, how cold it is, that steadiness is what really makes spiritual life very powerful and our sadhana very, very powerful. So I highly urge and recommend all of y'all to keep this morning program as a very, very strong basis of your spiritual life. And I can tell you, in a few months, you will see a massive transformation in your personal journey of spirituality. In all my 25 years of practicing Krishna consciousness, this one thing that I have realized: if your morning sadhana is very powerful, your spiritual life will be very powerful. So therefore, we have created this morning program especially for all of you. I know it is not easy to practice spiritual life at your own homes on your own, and therefore we have devised this morning program specifically for all of you to become very, very strong in your spiritual sadhana. Therefore, I highly, highly recommend you all to prioritize this. No matter what, 5:30 you should be there. No matter what happens, you should not miss the morning programs. That is what I highly recommend. And just like this Gita Panda, he had such a powerful benefit because he kept doing his sadhana very steadily. And eventually, he actually got resuscitated by the Lord. The Lord personally came to his house. Similarly, if we keep doing our sadhana very, very strictly and very, very strongly, one day we will actually have darshan of the Lord and we will actually have experience of Krishna in our lives. Thank you very much for joining in. Hare Krishna.